Welcome to the next installment of our Technology, Business, and Law YouTube video series. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal. And in this particular video, we're going to be talking about whether or not you should engage a lawyer knowledgeable in the technology realm when you're starting up a technology business. Now, you start up a business and you say, a lot of the stuff is already set in place, especially a lot of the web-based businesses today, whether you're creating an app, selling through Amazon or eBay, selling through iStore or Google App Store, Samsung's App Store, or the like. So you're starting to develop this new business model, pushing forward a business. A lot of the tools are preset. The sales mechanisms are preset. And you say to yourself, we just got to focus on what we're doing. Do we really need a lawyer? A lawyer's an added expense. And you question whether or not you should be bringing in legal counsel. Now, if you're thinking of a very short-term horizon, probably you don't need to have a lawyer because you're not really looking for a long-term commitment going forward. You're going to be doing one thing. You don't have obligations to anybody. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's all fine and good if you're doing it alone and you've got a short-term business. You can probably forestall the aspect of a lawyer for a while. Now, if that is not the arrangement you're in, for example, if you are taking a long-term perspective of how you're going to be moving forward with this particular business venture, and more so, if you're going to be working with other people, that is when you really need to consider engaging knowledgeable and experienced legal counsel to work with to best represent your interests in moving forward. Because even though a lot of the systems that you're going to be uploading and selling through are preordained and you don't really have much maneuverability, because companies like Apple and Google, eBay, and Amazon have very defined arrangements that they're working with. So your arrangement with them is a very highly specific, and you cannot change it. They set up terms. You either agree to their terms or you can't work off of their platform. That's all good and fine. But is that the only business arrangement you're involved in? Probably not. You're probably having a lot of other business arrangements that you're having to deal with. You're having business arrangements with service providers. You might be contracting out work. You might be employing people, short-term or long-term. You might be having fellow shareholders or fellow business partners. You might be having arrangements that try to incentivize people. You might be having contracts that go beyond those contracts that are simply with Apple and Google, eBay and Amazon. And it is there that you have to properly consider, should I be working with a lawyer? And in our opinion, and it's to your advantage, if you're thinking long term, you're going to benefit from working with a lawyer, especially one who's experienced and knowledgeable, given the fact that it's not only about what they do from the legal side, but it's what perspective they're able to give you in advance on the business side. So you're going to understand what they see as issues and considerations that you need to be addressing moving forward. Because there's a whole host of business and legal considerations, as well as insights that the appropriate professionals can provide you with. One of the benefits that I see for myself from 20 years of legal practice is that you get a perspective inside of other businesses. It's not that you're sharing inside secrets. What you are doing is sharing inside conceptualization. Ideas not specific to any given business, but to business in general, that people often fail to appreciate and realize, and which causes issues for them, problems down the road. And most of those problems and issues were entirely avoidable had they been considered at the very outset of any relationship or business arrangement. But what happens is that in very many successful businesses, there is no arrangement put in place at the outset. People think that, well, we'll operate on a handshake, which is generally how business should be operated, but the reality is that's not the case. And that people will stay the same. People do not stay the same. And that is your biggest issue, whether it's with business partners, business shareholders, employees, contractors, suppliers, consultants, or any of those people, and other business relationships that you might have. These things are not consistent. Issues come about. And those issues might be not even of the other person's making. They might be of somebody else's making. They might be because of financial circumstances from somebody else, insolvencies and bankruptcies that are outside their realm, business issues that are outside their realm. A key business partner might be acquired by another larger company, and now you'll lose a key supplier. You got new arrangements to deal with. Somebody passes away. Somebody becomes sick. How do you deal with those situations? If you haven't set up stuff in advance, you're creating considerable legal exposure. And what does legal exposure mean? It means business exposure, because it means financial change, business change, and that is problems, and that can hurt your bottom line adversely. So when you hear me speaking of all these kind of contentious issues and problems that can arise from not having structured your business accordingly, not put in place appropriate contracts, you can see why it's important to have engaged a lawyer early on in the process. But it has to be a lawyer who's knowledgeable and experienced in what you're looking to do, who has an affinity for what you're pursuing, and isn't simply going to throw stuff that's thrown at you for the sake of having some document out there, but something that really represents a grasping of what you're engaged in, such that you're getting something that really sets the tone for what you are looking to do. And that is what you really need to be doing with respect to the engagement of legal counsel and whether you should be engaging legal counsel, because it's always a good thing. But at the same time, it's important that you engage the right legal counsel, because just like engaging the right legal counsel is like engaging all other professionals in your business, like engaging the right shareholders and business partners, the right employees, the right contractors, the right suppliers, even using the right software and the right programmers. There's so many things that you have to be doing correctly to make them profitable. So you got to take the time to look into it. But you need to consider, is it appropriate? And like we said at the outset, this is something that you really should consider as being appropriate for your business if you have a long-term plan, and more so when you have other people involved in this arrangement. So you go forward with confidence and that you can focus on your business's advancement, because the structure and the contracts and the legal support you have is designed with that in mind. It's designed to focus on you moving forward, because it's through moving forward that you succeed. And what your lawyer is supposed to be doing is providing you with the basis through which you have the capability to succeed and become profitable. Lawyers typically don't make the difference between whether or not your business operation will be commercially viable. But what they will do is they will try to prevent it from being undermined and attacked, and not being allowed to focus on what it's capable of doing. So that is what you need to be focusing on when you're looking at legal counsel and engaging legal counsel. Hopefully you found this YouTube video informative, and it provides you some insights into how you might look to advance your own technology-based business, even though you might be heavily focused on working through the portals created by Google, Apple, Amazon, eBay, and a range of other portals where there's not necessarily a lot of control ability to modify and manipulate. But that is only one aspect of your business, and as such, in those other aspects, you probably really need to consider solid, experienced, knowledgeable legal counsel. Thank you.